It's January, you know what that means? Fuck you! It's January! Woo! If you don't know what that means, January is usually that month where two kinds of films come out. There are a couple exceptions, but here's generally what comes out in January. Generally January. Let's try saying that 3 times fast. Anyway, number one are awards contenders. Films that are, that had a limited release but are now getting wide releases and are in talks for Oscars. This year we have The Revenant. Last year we had American Sniper. The year before that, I think, was her. And the other kinds of films are just the garbage. Like a lot of terrible films that people just chuck into January because it's usually not a big big movie. It's not usually a big time for moviegoers. Usually holiday season, summer movie seasons, that's the big time. January's not usually the big time, which there's a certain movie coming out in a couple weeks where I feel like it's playing to that strength, but unless you're seeing an award contender like The Revenant, which I am planning on seeing at some point, hopefully this weekend, usually you don't go to the movie theaters in January. And there are 3 films coming out that are doing that, and in the interest of time, I'm going to do them all in one video, and not only that, but I'm going to have annotations, an annotation so you can skip around if you just want to hear about a specific movie. And also, I'm going to try and do these thoughts going into videos. I'm going to try and bring it back. I apologize if I fall behind. I'm in college. I have a life. I get busy. It's hard to find time alone in my dorm where I can just record stuff. And I can try recording in my common area, but people walking around. Anyway, let's get into my thoughts going into. First off, we have what I'm going to assume is the biggest film in January, well, at least this weekend, 13 Hours, the Benghazi movie by Michael Bay. Now, there are a lot of things about this film that make it look like it could work. I mean, it's this very serious subject. The marketing for the trailers for it make it look decent. There is one thing about this film that has me worried. Michael Bay. And if you know anything about Michael Bay, his films tend not to be that good. There are probably some exceptions, but I haven't seen them. I've only seen 4 Michael Bay films. No, 5. The Transformers films and Pearl Harbor, and I pretty much hate those films for all the reasons that people hate those films. And knowing his name is attached just has me worried. Like, regardless of how decent these trailers seem, I don't think so. And specifically Pearl Harbor. I mean, the fact is, Michael Bay is not exactly a director you can rely on to show history properly. Like, knowing him, he's probably going to glorify it, misrepresent stuff, have the explosions really cool. Like, I've gotten this trailer like 3 times in the past couple months. For Spectre, I got it again when I saw The Big Short, and I got it again when I saw The Hateful Eight. All of which I liked with the exception of The Big Short, but I'll talk about that at some point. Anyway, so when I saw this trailer for 13 Hours during Spectre, I started laughing hysterically, and my brother looked at me like, what's wrong with you? And just, because it's Michael Bay, and if you know anything about Michael Bay, it's not going to be good. It's just, he's not going to do it justice. It's going to be explosion fest. There's going to be over love for America with a flag, the military being buff, and it won't do any of it justice. Hopefully it'll be better than Transformers, or at least laughably bad. Although, again, Michael Bay, and this film's 2.5 hours, so I have my doubts. Financially, I hope it bombs, but I don't think so. I mean, again, Michael Bay's films somehow tend to make tons of money, even though they're pretty bad. The marketing for it's been okay. And I was, to kind of get it, because I do my weekend box office predictions, and I looked, just out of curiosity, sorry, I just lost my thought. Out of curiosity, I just looked at my local AMC and like what films had the most showings, and the 13 Hours had a lot of showings, which leads me to believe that they are anticipating a lot of people. Although then again, it's also an AMC Prime, so they need even more screens to compensate. So yeah, it'll probably unfortunately do okay. I hope it doesn't knock out Star Wars. It probably won't. And I'm not gonna go see it because it doesn't look good. I don't want to waste my money. I will eventually check it out just out of sheer curiosity to see where it ranks amongst the Bay films, but I'm not spending money on this in theaters. I'm not supporting Bay. I will go see The Revenant this weekend because that looks really good. As soon as I finish the book. Yeah. Don't see it 13 hours, trust me. The second film coming out is Ride Along 2. Now, I haven't seen the first one, although after seeing the trailer for this, I kind of want to. I don't think it's good. I mean, I've heard it wasn't a good film, but it's one of those, it was a bad film, but it made money, so we're doing a sequel. And that pretty much has me heard. It's that it made money, let's just throw out a sequel. And that's very much what it feels like. Even though the trailer made me laugh again, that could be one of the few laughs in the movie. I hope it's laughably bad, but just from the trailers, I don't get that sense. And especially given it's January. I kind of feel bad, because Kevin Hart seems like a nice guy. I was listening to he was on Howard Stern for this movie, and I was listening to that on the way up here, and he seemed passionate about it. But, again, it's Ride Along 2. Now, I don't feel like it's going to do a bomb. I mean, again, this is coming out 2 years after Ride Along. It's fresh in people's minds. It's not like Hot Tub Time Machine 2, where they waited like 4 or 5 years to do a sequel, and no one saw it because... to be fair, the first Hot Tub Time Machine didn't do anything. Anyway, you get my point. The point is that they're doing it while it's hot, and they aren't waiting for, like, the fan base to die down, like, oh, maybe we should do a sequel to this. They're doing it while it's hot, so it'll probably won't bomb terribly. And also, Kevin Hart has a fan base. Like, he mentioned on Howard Stern that there are a bunch of people who follow him, so I feel like he has that going for him. But I don't think this is going to... I'll be very surprised if this makes the top 3. I feel like Star Wars is going to hold the Reverend, especially with it getting the Oscar buzz. Like, it's going to get people into the theaters. And 13. But it'll probably make the top 5, but I don't think it'll make the top 3. So I doubt it. And I'm probably not going to see this one. I want to see the first one, too. I don't think it's bad. I might check it out if it's one of those it's so bad it's good, but I doubt it. And the third film is the film I honestly think is going to bomb. This is the film I don't think anyone knows or cares about. And the fact that there's barely any screenings of it at my local AMC just shows they really could care less. Norm of the North. Every year we have a computer-animated film that's just chucked into January, and it usually sucks. There is another film coming out, which I'll talk about in a couple weeks, which actually looks like it might be an exception to that. But this one isn't an exception. We have that dumb, mediocre, pop culture referencing humor film, Norm of the North, called Norm of the North. And even if the jokes didn't clue me in, and the release date, the animation. It's not terrible, but it's very dated. Like, this is computer animation that I'd expect to see from a studio, from a non-Disney DreamWorks studio in, like, the mid-early 2000s. But, when you think of how far animation has come, like, even for the C-level studios, like Illumination, Entertainment, Blue Sky, the fact that we have a computer-animated film coming out that looks with the quality it does makes me doubtful. I will be surprised if this film makes the top 5. I'll be surprised if it actually manages not to bomb. For one thing, the way this film's marketed, it's only going to appeal to little kids. Only little kids, critics, and animation fans are going to go see this. And by animation fans, I mean people who review animated films for a living, like Animan, Cellspecs, and Paleo Steno. Plus, even then, I mean, why would you want to take your kid to this? I mean, only little kids are going to want to go see this. Everyone else, like, either you're seeing Star Wars again, or you're saving your money for the other computer animated film, Kung Fu Panda Free, which I will, again, talk about in a couple weeks. And yeah, with competition like Kung Fu Panda Free coming out, it's going to have like a couple weekends to make its money before everyone just forgets about it. And combine the fact that it's probably going to get terrible reviews, it's going to bomb. So, will I go see Norm of the North? Not in theaters. This looks like, a terrible film. And while I do like to see all the animated films, usually I only go out and see the ones in theaters that I think are going to be really good, like Inside Out, Box Trolls, the Lego Movie. This I can afford to wait until Netflix. Again, I have a limited money, and I'm doing Oscar homework. This just isn't worth my time. And that's all I have to say about these 3 films. Are you looking forward to any of them? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below if you're curious. And as always, like, dislike, comment, subscribe. And this is JStar60 signing out. Until next time, take care.